Hi, I'm Bailey. This is Bailey Talks, where I talk, you listen, and hopefully we both learn something along the way. No scripts, no filters, just unique conversations. Let's see where we end up. Yeah, welcome back, Bailey Talks, everyone. Got the great man, Timmy Bradstreet. I've been trying to get the big fella in for... The great man. Mate, thanks for coming in today, mate. It's good to finally catch up.
Yeah, mate. We've been following each other on socials
for a while,
and it feels like, it's so funny these days because, you see someone all the time, all their stuff,
true,
and you feel
bro.
like you already know them.
Best mates online, never met them.
You're not a catfish. So
no, true. You've been to Bali.
Yeah, mate.
What was, you've been twice in the last couple of weeks? You were there?
No, only once. I have been away a fair bit. This has been crazy, mate. And have been travelling up north a fair bit, trying to work a few things out there.
Yeah. I saw that. What's Bali like? You enjoy Bali? You like Bali?
I froth it, mate. It's just, honestly, the people are super, super kind. Like, it's just such a good wind down. Like, I genuinely find some of my best work I do these days to catch up on all the chaos is sometimes we're in better environments. You go over to Bali, it's
Getting
chill.
away.
It's just like the villas are really nice. They're cheap. You go have great food everywhere. It's like restaurant quality.
Food's amazing.
Like really, really, really good quality restaurant food wherever you go. It's cheap as chips.
Yeah.
And it's just chill, mate. Like we went over there for my partner's dad.
Yeah.
Interesting fella. He's an electrical engineer and he's helping the Prince of Saudi build an island.
What the hell?
Yeah, so he got picked up, mate. So he's doing a 5-year swing out there now.
Yeah,
he can only come back to Australia a certain amount, otherwise it's seen as tax evasion because he's on some serious coin.
Of course, of course.
So we're like, well, fuck, how are we going to do Christmas? So,
how did he pick up that? Was that just by chance, or was it?
Mate, he's incredibly smart. Yeah, and it was just like I think. He got sent an offer. Yeah. And he followed up with it, and then he just went through the processes and ended up landing it. So
that's crazy.
It's a 5-year deal. After he finishes, he can retire, man.
Yeah, that's
which
amazing,
is insane.
bro.
But the problem, he can only come back to Australia a certain amount. So we thought doing family Christmas in November, would be fucking perfect. Just before the hectic time of Christmas, but I fully forgot that. Like in the last year, without being too ADD here, in the last year, our online for Best Body has completely, for my business, has completely changed.
Yeah, okay.
And it's taking up, it's completely revolutionised our whole brand, right?
Yeah.
Now, November's Black Friday time.
True. Right. Which I was going to ask you, is that next Friday?
Well, okay, so in the process of this, in the last year, from Black Friday to Black Friday, we completely redeveloped a new website, opened up 3 new stores. The company completely changed, but the online website's where most of the time and effort has been put over that year. And my knowledge on online and the potential for growth, it's like I literally nearly feel a little bit subtly anxious daily because of the potential that we have missed out. But you can only look at the positives moving forward, right? So,
True.
But we hit our Black Friday earlier because on a storefront, when everyone's doing it at once, I don't really see it. I mean, everyone's doing sales at the same time. It's just going to end up just like normal. Everyone's going to just shop where they shop. So if you can hit the market early, you're going to capitalize. So we did our Black Friday at the start of the month.
Yeah, when's
this going live?
This Wednesday.
Perfect.
So
this is perfect.
So
I'll be able to say, so it's currently Sunday now.
Yeah.
We're doing another Black Friday.
Yep.
We promote it in a way that this is our only one. And the idea is that we're going to capture most of the market as far as the localized areas.
Yep.
We're going to, chuck our sale up first. We're quite exclusive, and it was awesome. We did in one day. This Black Friday, what we did in the full month last year.
Wow, that's crazy, man. What do you put that down to? Do you think? Is it just the growth, just the work behind the scenes stuff?
Everything in between.
Yeah.
The socials has completely changed.
Also, your team too, the guys you got working with you.
Absolutely. Your company's owned as good as the team, but
true.
The whole thing on this Black Friday thing is it's just full on, mate. Like the preparation, bro, I was preparing for 4 months out, and we ran this biggest sale ever. Mad testament of where the website's at now, and I'm super stoked.
Yeah.
When working with our marketers as well, we've strategically placed it that we're going to do another one as well. So we had these big balloon arches, we had crazy discounts, like all of the stores. So we're literally going to do it all again. Yeah. And traditionally, at Best Buddy, we don't do sales.
Sure.
We don't feel like, I don't want to devalue products.
Sure.
And as far as when it comes to the supplement side of things, there's piss poor margin. Like, you'd be very surprised. People look at it and go, you get that associate. We're not, man.
You're not making a whole lot in the products.
A whole lot in the products. So we don't do sales often, but for this year, we're really trying to dabble in areas that we haven't before, especially with the advertising purposes. So we're actually, come Wednesday, we're releasing that we're doing it all again. So
great. Because traditionally, like Black Friday sales, they normally run for like just the week leading up to Friday. I know with like some brands that I'm aware of, they sort of run for a week. But what gave you the idea to go, let's do something early on, try and sort of change people's mindset towards that?
Well, it's always morphing.
Yeah.
So traditionally it starts on a Thursday, and it used to be just the Friday.
Yeah.
But then it turned into the Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah,
and then people wanted to get in early and did the Thursday. And then there's Cyber Monday. And then from now brands, like you look at Muscle Nation, like testament to, I reckon they're a fucking sick brand, right?
Yeah.
But they start early and they run for like, they prepare all year for it. And I don't even, like they talk about some of the figures sometimes. I'm just like, that's fucking incredible.
Is that impossible?
But it's just smart marketing. So it's all dependent on really where, but around this time, especially online, the amount of interaction and sales and
people eyes online,
if you don't do it in this time, you're just missing out. So the reason for doing it earlier was more for the store purpose, like not so much for online. Online did really well, but for our stores, no one in the Newcastle area is doing them. So it completely cleaned up and it was unreal.
Mate, there's one thing that I remember I saw, it was a few other months or weeks back, you had that sale and we had the lineup out the door and you were running around with your camera talking to people. Yeah. And that was one thing, like in Newcastle, I haven't really seen many brands bring that sort of noise and attention. And like I personally, my guess was putting that down to your marketing, your lead up to that, you guys, the cool videos you were making, and to see, to walk outside and see the lineup you had for the sales and that, and the giveaways, because you guys are really about giving back to the people who are faithful to your brand as well. And there's not that many brands that are really reinvesting back into the people who are buying the product.
100%, mate. You're only like, it's all branding.
Yeah.
And branding community.
Yeah.
Our community at Best Body is something, it's probably the thing I'm most proud about in business. Being able to create this community of people, of trusting people.
It's hard to do as well.
It just comes right back to authenticity, mate.
Yeah.
Like when I started with Best Body.
Yeah.
Best Body stands for best product for your body.
Yeah.
And at the start, I had, I've got some family in business and they're giving me all this advice, and I don't want to run my business that way.
Yeah.
I don't want sale targets, because when I was a young kid, and you can probably say the same, I went into a sup store and got sold like $500 and something worth of sups. And when I'm 17, bro, that was like, to get that sort of money was crazy. And I didn't know what half of it did.
True.
I just got told I needed it, and I didn't really change. And I said, I refuse to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I followed on from that, and best product for your body. We actually still have no monetary sale targets in Best Body.
Yep.
So the goal is someone comes in and we will listen to them. We talk, and we don't ever mention supplements. And when you go into our stores, if people watching this ever goes in stores, we will never mention supplements. It's not about us coming in to sell. It's about you coming in for us to give you help. Man,
I think that's so true. And like, it's interesting you say that, because even me growing up, when you first get into supplements, and it's a big world out there. Like, you don't know what to buy, what you need, what sort of training you're doing. And you could easily go in somewhere, get sold a heap of shit. And if you don't understand it, you could really get put off by that. So that's just like one opportunity where I know with my girlfriend, like, and this isn't even pissing in your pocket. Like, she always says to me, like, mate, I was like, where are you going to get your sup? She's like, I'm going to Best Body. And I was like, well, why? Like, there's heaps. Like, you can go online. Well, when I just moved here, right? Because I've only been dating her for 2 years, and I used to get my sups online. Like, I didn't really know much. Sunny Coast. It's up in Queensland.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
I've got something to tell you a bit later.
Oh, I'm excited.
No, sorry, hold on. Remind me about Sunny Coast.
Yeah. And she honestly would swear by you guys, and she would say, you don't get the service that you get with the guys there that you would anywhere else. Yeah. And I always thought about that, and it's like, that's full transparency. That's what she would tell me.
No,
and
thank you so much.
I think that's good feedback for you guys. But clearly, you're spot on there in terms of the team you've built there. It's all about that interaction with the person, the customer who comes in, and really listening to what they want and helping them understand what they're buying. And that's in a retail world now, especially like where we live in now. I think a lot of people struggle to do that. So that just goes to show, like, word of mouth with you guys. You guys are doing like an outstanding job. And obviously business, like, I want to slam, I'd love to pick your brain on the business stuff, when it started, what you've been through. But before I get into that, just quickly, I want to just know about your backstory, because I went back through your socials. You've always been
dangerous,
pretty fit bloke, right? You've always been, we work out, you look after yourself for many years, but right back from the start of your Instagram, really. Yep. You even competed, I believe, did some bodybuilding stuff, some fitness related stuff, I really want to ask you about that process because,
how far back did you go?
bro, I was deep.
Okay.
I was deep in the trenches.
Did you get back to how far back did you get? Because I honestly, I feel like I've lived 2 lives.
Yeah, well, in 2017, I think you had a couple of wins in your competition. And I really want to know about your opinion on the fitness industry, how it's changed, because you've seen all this, man. There's been a lot of changes. But before we get into that, I want you to tell me about how you first got into fitness. Like, where did that interest come from? Was that something that just naturally happened? Was it like something that sparked? Was it friends who you were around? Where was your love from fitness? Where did this start for you?
Oh, man. How far back do you want to go?
Bro, give me like maybe high school. Because I think high school for a lot of young men and women, obviously they start to get into the gym, end of school, end of grade 12, university, all that sort of stuff. Where were you at in your life then?
I'll try and fast track this because I've lived, like I said, I've lived 2 lives. I don't talk about
and the long hair, bro.
Yeah.
So I saw
you like the Thor hair,
loved
mate?
it, bro. Loved it.
Mate,
I like the short hair better.
It was the worst thing I've ever done, man. Like, I looked so busted. I was like,
do you look back and think, fuck, what was going on there?
I couldn't believe I thought it looked good, mate.
Yeah. Like, it's just hairs. It's just
how did I get any attention?
It's like anyone.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, what am I doing?
Who would want to talk to me there?
Absolutely.
Long hair. Yeah.
But no, mate. So my previous life, I say, is I was a professional water scout.
Yeah, wow.
I grew up from the age of 2 on Lake Macquarie, and Dad he still is to today. He's just so keen on water skiing, and he always looked up to tournament water skiing was the discipline, and it's become, since I fell out of the sport back in 2012, it's completely diminished in Australia especially, but in the US it's huge still.
Yeah, okay.
I was professional tournament water ski, which is the slalom, trick and jump.
Yep.
And I became professional in jump. So I turned professional when I was 16.
Yeah, wow.
I was living in Orlando, doing the summer to summer. Like, I didn't have a winter for quite some time.
Crazy.
I represented Australia over 25 times.
Yep. Wow.
I've got 2 under 21 world championships to my belt, and I've got a runners up in open worlds for an event. So
wow.
I've a little bit of a portfolio there as far as the water skiing goes. But being a young athlete, working with the AIS as well, and having to, it's kind of like molded everything for fitness and also supplementation. I was a real skinny guy, still am, but even a skinnier guy, and for me to put on any muscle size based on the activities that I was doing and how much I was training. Really I had to go to supplements early on. The sort of training that I had to do for risk mitigation and injury mitigation was insane. So I've always been around it. I've always been fit. I've been one of those people that used to do every sport as a kid. Water skiing got very, very serious, and I got to the point where I was professional at the age of 17, where I actually finished school. I had a good old, see you boys, catch up beers with the lads, and I'm off. That's it. I don't know when I'm coming back. And I just came off the back of winning my first pro tournament. And, back then it was, winning 15K a comp. Like, that's good money for you when you're a kid. And I just landed my first boat sponsorship and with Mastercraft. And I moved over to the US, and it was about 3 weeks in, and I had an invite to the US Masters, which is the 6th best in the world, go to this event in Callaway Gardens in Georgia. Wow. And I was 2 weeks out, and I blew my knee.
No way.
Blew it. Boom. Blew it apart.
Just in practice?
Just in practice. And this whole story, right, shapes everything that I do today.
Yeah, wow.
From how I run business is how I was as an athlete. Yeah. And I don't, I'm not an athlete now, and I don't like talking about it too much now because, I haven't trained to that intensity, and I'm not around that environment and the competition, the world stage, competing for your country. I'm not around that anymore. But from what I learned as being an athlete, I think doing sports and doing things competitively, how that
shapes you for business,
how that transfers into business is unreal. Because if you can be, when you look at like Roger Federer, right? He is so centered. Yeah. How he wins, how he loses. Yeah. How he welcomes competition. How he welcomes competition is one of the biggest things, right? And you put him as a business, he follows all those things that he does. He's going to do really well. His ability to converse, how he holds himself, how he competes, how he takes loss, how he takes his wins, everything. And honestly, that really pushed me right through into what I do in business, especially with the competition side of things. Like, I just froth it. I think that's one of the reasons I love business so much, is because I genuinely want to be better than everyone. And you've got so many of the people might be like, oh, you shouldn't have to focus on other people. It's irrelevant. I want everyone to do well. Yeah. I just want to do better. Yeah. My service, the way that my staff are dressed, the way our stores present, the way our social media is, everything I want to be the best. Detail. Exactly the same as to become a world champion in water skiing, it was the hours, mate, the time. It's, you know, the time,
commitment,
on off water,
discipline.
commitment. It's exactly the same thing, and it was always because I just wanted to be the best.
So when you did your knee,
Yep.
tell me about where you were at mentally there, and like obviously a big loss, right? What was that process like for you?
I don't give up, mate, and this is also the bane of my existence. So I blew my knee.
I don't give up.
I went back and I'm like, I just need to get back.
Yeah.
You know, this is my life.
Yeah.
You know, and what am I now? My identity, it's gone. Like, what do I do? So I got my knee reconstruction and I rehabbed the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
I did everything right.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse, right?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to defend my world title. It's the under 21 world title back in 21. So I was just old enough to make it one more time. So 11 months later, I'm at the World Championships. I was able to build myself back, build my way up, and then I was top seed leading into the finals in the jump.
Yeah.
And by doing so, I'd claimed the overall title. So I'd already won based on the 3 events. It's normally like a cumulative total of the 3.
Sure.
But the jump's what I wanted, and then the finals, it was hurting, and I knew I shouldn't be out there, but and this is where I say the bane of my existence is, I want to win that. I wanted to win that bad when I was young, and I couldn't sometimes want to step away and realize it's okay not to sometimes, and it's okay to reset. I blew it out in the finals again. Yeah. So by the age of 21, I'd blown my...
And you had a Rico already?
I had a Rico ready.
Shit.
And this is where I'm saying to you, when we just sat down, I was like, mate, what we can talk about is there's a lot going on in this next year that I'm going to talk about. But with the whole knee situation, mate, and then that really shook me.
Yeah.
Because I get home again, and then the surgeon that I went to, he's just like, mate, I'm actually not overqualified to do a recurrent reconstruction. The process of a recurrent reconstruction means they need to go in, bone block the knee, which they put bone in there so it heals because you've already got these holes drilled in.
Yep.
Get it cleaned out and then get another reconstruction. Now, I already had my hamstring taken, and that was giving me problems. So I'm already, there's this snowball of this is not okay, but I just didn't want to listen to that. I just want to get back out there and keep doing it because, you know, I don't want to give up. The whole thing that I had in my head that I have to just get back. And that was my whole identity. And it was just a snowball because he actually ended up doing the surgery and didn't bone block it. And that reconstruction was unsuccessful.
Yeah, right.
So I was rehabbing that knee for, 3 to 4, 5 years with it in my head that one day I still want to get back to professional sport. And it was just a very slow realization of, I won't be able to do that. But
that would have been frustrating.
It was so frustrating, mate. But look, I'm not a person to sit there and go, poor me.
True.
I just got to work and I just started. I had to keep busy. So and this is what ended up developing this new identity that I have now. And I would not change a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because everything that happened with this knee, keeping me grounded, making me go through the crazy mental battle that I had for years, especially more in here, knowing that I, as a junior, so I still have the world records, I generally wasn't able to go to my full potential in skiing. Yeah. And it's always hung over me. It's just
Does it still linger? Like, do you still think about that? Or
every night.
Yeah.
Every night. And I've had so many mentors over the years. Yeah. And a lot of I'm fine with it now. And it's flipped. Now I feel I'm so grateful that it happened. Yeah. For the business I have, for the friends I have, for my partner, for everything that I have in my life right now wouldn't be there unless this happened. And I talked to a lot of business mentors over time, and it's so funny that like some business mentors, a lot of the time it's a lot of counselling, man. And
big time, man.
You end up bringing up a lot of stuff, and my sporting it's one of the best things for business, but it was also the thing that held heavy on me. And since voicing that and conquering that, it's
how did you conquer that? Like what did you have to go through? As in, like, what did you have to do in terms of looking within, like your self-insight? What did you have to do to actually get over that?
Oh, mate, there's nothing that was in particular. It was just time and realization and maturity. Yeah. I think the realistic expectation of what you were going to be able to do, and then to realize that that's now not your path. I think a very important thing to have is knowing the ability to pivot. Yeah. In business, in athletes, all that, you've got to know when you need to make change. Sure. Especially in business.
Of course.
And if you can't see that, you get stuck in your ruts. Of course. Same as what was happening with my knee. And as soon as it happened, did I go, poor me? No, I didn't. I went straight away, what am I interested in? Fitness. Yeah. I want to help people with this. Yeah. I want to help people with this. So I went and got my Cert 3, 4 diploma, Cert 3 and 2. in strength and conditioning.
Yep.
I went right through. I want to work with athletes.
How long did that process take, getting all your certs and getting all that background information you needed to actually put your foot forward in this space of, fitness and
Yeah,
things?
I tried to expedite it, but I'm a big believer in that, you can just see it, man. Everyone gets their PT course from a cereal box these days, bro.
Yeah.
like, should you be a PT?
Well, that's what I wanted to ask
you. Don't even know what you're doing yourself.
That's what I mean. Like, it's almost like some people would have more knowledge by doing their own research and listening and reading articles and watching online. Like, you think about what you can learn now, like on 100%. YouTube. And if you're looking at the right information, you can learn more in a day on YouTube than you probably could at a course. You know what I mean? Like,
100%. And look, for back in the day, I went to TAFE. And the reason I went to TAFE is it was face-to-face back then.
Yep.
And I was doing it after hours. I actually went and picked up an IT job out of all things.
Did ya?
Just to pay some bills, yeah.
Crazy.
So I was working as a IT guy, full suit and tie during the day, and then I was, doing my training, my rehab, and also these courses of a night time from 6 p.m. onwards.
Yeah.
And so I was there 3 days a week personally, and then all the online stuff. So after Cert 3-4 diploma, it probably took me about a year and a half or so.
Okay.
Which is the diploma is normally a nine-month course, but I just charged it, mate, and I was so interested in it. It was very easy for me to do.
Yeah. And so when you went to compete, right, was it 2017? Did I get that right?
So the bodybuilding side of things?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think
was that the next phase for you? Was that after you got the information, like the certs and all that?
Did the certs, became a PT.
Yeah.
Very early mornings and late nights. But,
Did you? What was that like? Were you loving it straight away, or was it?
I did. I really did. I really did. But I found, because I wanted to work with athletes, I wanted to work with people in the similar situations, and I started to do that. And when I had no money, I just had to sell everything after coming back from my surgeries and whatnot. And I became PT at Anytime Fitness out at Morris, out of all places. You don't even know where this is, Central Coast.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And I was working there, and
what were people like out there?
Who's watching?
Yeah.
No, they're good, mate. It's
no
good.
one out there.
It's a lot more rural.
Just
chill, bro. So, but look, it was different. The PT job that I started with, it was just general people wanting PT. So I was working with people wanting to lose weight. Like, a few clients lost over 40 kilos with me, which was like a massive achievement at the time.
Yeah, wow.
From that, I ended up, I was working early mornings, late nights, but no one wanted to go during the day. And there was a local supplement store I started working for just a little bit, because I was going in there all the time, loved my supplements. Came out, so like, do you want a shift or so? God, we need a hand. I was like, oh yeah, fucking oath.
Sure, yeah.
Ended up working PT in the mornings, working 9 till 6. This is after a couple of months, and then PTing again.
Shit. So you were doing PT before, worked throughout the day at supplement store, and then PT after.
PT
Holy.
After. And it was just like this.
It's a long day.
It was these long days, man. And it got to the point where I ended up getting rid of both and opened a PT studio.
Yeah, wow.
And I did that for 2.5 years, and that was kind of like my entry level to business.
Sure.
But look, the early mornings and late nights, back to what you were saying before, it was, it's not something you can do forever, I don't think.
Yep.
And I do see a lot of people that are quite successful that do these business for a long time, but are they doing the afternoons as well? No, they won't. Will they then focus on just the mornings? Like, they do give themselves that halves where the business progresses. But if it's something you're going to be doing as just a general PT mornings and nights, it's not sustainable. I don't think.
Yeah.
For me personally, my early mornings and late nights are for me. Like,
yeah, for sure, man. For sure.
Time
and you need that time too.
Walking the dogs.
Everyone needs that time, man.
Absolutely.
And so competition wise,
yes.
I want to really hear about what that was like in terms of diet, mentally, physically, that whole process. Because the discipline required to go through, like, I imagine a training block for something like that would be great, man. I'm getting sugar cravings. I don't like, I'm just a battler, right? But what was the diet like? Was that crazy, or like?
It's honestly, like, the competing side of things was. It wasn't. I don't want to sound like an idiot here, but it wasn't the hardest thing. Like, discipline for water skiing, what I developed in water skiing, it was nothing for me.
Way harder.
I, like, for months before competition, I wouldn't touch alcohol, anything.
Yeah.
3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
My diet was always really, really strict. So going into the competition, having structure and it, put me back in that kind of athlete mindset, and I was sweet.
Yeah.
There's always going to be the hard times. Like, you get the cravings like everyone else, but sugar cravings are a weird one. Once you get past a certain point,
you're sweet.
You're pretty good. And then when you give it to yourself again a bit, you're just like, fuck, I need more.
Back
like,
to,
what is this?
Yeah.
Like, my brain's like, fucking give me some more. But it is hard. And it is, you just got to be so on the point, because, it's very easy to just go, I'm just going to have this little bit of this, or I'm going to just overeat today. It's about trusting the processes.
Yeah.
I learnt over multiple competitions. My first one, I was classic, like down to the T of bro science. Like I can only have these exact foods and I have to cut caffeine 2 weeks before and all that.
Yeah.
Bro, the last comp, I was like, if you fit your macros, making
All
sure I'm in a
good.
calorie deficit.
Yeah.
You know, 4 weeks out, I was like pretty diced. And then you just tighten that last little bit and get rid of a few things that cause a bit more inflammation. But it's a hard process. It does take time.
Yeah. Would you do it again?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely not. It was really good to see where I could get my body.
Yeah.
But it's funny enough. It's like I don't really have a care for going and comparing my body to other people's.
Yeah.
And
which is hard nowadays because I think a lot of people do, especially with social media. Like
you can never compare, right?
Nah.
And at the end of the day, you can only be the best version of yourself. And
That's right.
I feel like what I achieved out of bodybuilding was the best version I could get out of myself without getting to the point where it starts hindering my life. Because this whole process of this knee, I still like doing all my sports. Like I've had the ability to go back to a lot of sports. I can't do things to the capacity I would have been able to or used to do. But, you know, it's not everything in my life. And, you know, being that lean or that big, if I wanted to go more, I just had to get bigger and bigger. I had to start probably doing things I didn't want to do, like running PEDs to a point that you don't want to do. The adverse effects in your later life. It's just not something that interests me, mate.
What's your opinion on steroids or performance enhancing or illegal supplements?
I think performance enhancing drugs, as in you just say PEDs, it's got a bad name. And I think if it's just for the 99.999% of people, should not be on them. Yeah. They are terrible. And
the people who just want to get jacked, like
you walk through, I'm sorry, and this is, it just, it bugs me, but you walk through and the kids that are under the age of 22, 23, 24 on steroids, bro, in Newcastle, in the gyms is besides me.
Yeah, and so many people are doing it,
They don't, it's the short-term gain for what's going to happen to when you're older, mate? You are aging yourself so much. Your body is not fully developed. Us lads, we're not developed properly right through to close to 30, mate, especially our brain. And things like that with hormone imbalance and chemical imbalance, it is not okay.
It's not good.
But for the right people and for the right circumstances, so for people men with low testosterone, taking TRT, mate, how you feel, your confidence, things, how your body can recover, your sleep, everything like that. These men are feeling confident again, amazing. You know, for the benefit of life and well-being, the benefits on these sorts of things, like it's funny, we class PEDs as just like, you know,
it's just one broad thing.
I try not to class them as one thing because you look at things like the bodybuilders, some, you know, take it pointing out of comp trend. No one should take that. That stuff is just lethal. But for, you know, a 50-year-old male who's feeling generally depressed, he's got no test anymore and he's running TRT, he's going to feel better than he ever has in his whole life. His life's going to be better. His family life's going to be better. Everything's better.
What about like muscle recovery or like injury prevention, injury recovery, things like that?
Yep. So this is where do we go with this? I think peptides are amazing. Yep. I really, really do. I don't condone any of this, by the way. But this is, everyone should do their own research, and this is where it comes back to what you said before. Everyone, it's out there and it's accessible.
Big time.
Knowing and learning how to research is very important. But
that's a good point.
Always find reputable sources and find. I think things like your peptides are amazing. I think all your natural supplements, because before we even talk the PED side of things, like the only way your body can ever change or get better is by your processes, which is diet and training, right? Yep. So even the same when any customer walks into my store, like when I said we don't mention SUTs, we talk about their processes first because nothing can change. You can't lose fat or gain muscle without being in either calorie surplus, calorie deficit. Based on the training, what you do is how your body progresses, right? So that's the first and foremost thing. But then if you've got those in place and then you do take supplements and then you've some of these, like, you know, things like your peptides or, you know, that older male who's got no testosterone anymore, you add these things in, the potential for making things better, faster is exponential. Yeah, of course. But this is where it comes down to my knee. I don't want to keep going back to this, but I had another reconstruction. So that was 3. And then it's at a point, mate, where I feel like it's so unstable. I'm in pain. Like walking up those stairs hurt. True. And shit. What's the end goal? Like, this is where it comes down to the supplement side of things. Yeah. And I'm actually doing a content piece on it soon because there's just not a lot out there. And I looked into stem cells. Yep. Cool. I'm going to Mexico next year. Are you? CPI. Wow. Cellular Performance Institute. And so I've been researching exponentially because I went to another surgeon. I went to a new one. I've gone, and this comes back to processes, right? He goes, I got a new MRI, and he goes, I walk in, he goes, go back and walk in again. I'm like, okay. Walked in, he goes, I don't know how you're walking.
How are you walking?
And he goes, what do you do? And I was like, mate, I do my prehabilitation, rehab, obviously.
Yeah.
My movements, like it's so important, especially with a knee, because it's riddled with arthritis now.
As
I've got
well.
no medial meniscus. My ACL is now gone again.
Yeah.
And I had donor grafts, and sometimes I don't agree with your body. Your body eats it, gone.
Shit.
No graft, arthritis, 31 years old. The goalpost changes. I want to be able to run around with my kids at 40.
What's the little things now, isn't it? It's like I just want to get around, even without pain. I just want to get around without pain.
Him and I'm like, mate, what can we do? And he goes, I don't want to touch your knee. He goes, I can give you a stable knee, but he goes, you're able to do pretty much everything you want now. And I'm like, I do. Like, can't play touch footy anymore.
Yep.
I still skydive. I still water ski within reason.
Yep.
I'm able to do a lot of things. I just know that I can't run and sidestep like crazy. But that's something that I've had to acknowledge and be like, you know what? You know, I can't be like that. Back from when I kept fucking myself with water skiing, you've just got to realize this is your new reality. Yeah. Still enjoy the things and do the best that you can, because now it's about that longevity. So and then I asked him, what about stem cells? And he goes, not proven. I'm like, okay, I've heard this from all surgeons, and I've looked into it, and he goes, at the moment, he goes, it's so new. He goes, how much money would you pay to fix your knee? And I've gone, I'd give up everything except for my partner. Yeah. Except for my partner and my dogs. Two things I can't. That's it. Call me a simp, but they're the best.
Shout out.
Shout out. But, and he goes, right, well, you're the person they market to.
Yeah, okay.
I thought, sweet, well, I'll just keep doing my rehab. I'll make sure I keep moving, and I'll get as long out of this knee as I possibly can, because medical technology, we're right on the pinnacle of breaking through. Hopefully they're going to have some sort of bionic knee.
True.
I'm going to be eat-swap.
Right? It could be like Elon Musk. No doubt it'll be something like that. Something crazy.
An AI knee. Takes a while. Oh, shit.
Shit. Holy shit.
But,
I'm sprinting.
I ended up talking to a few people, and I met someone who went to this CPI place, and it's the same place where Joe Rogan goes to. Yeah. Sean O'Malley, Conor McGregor's been to. Yeah, wow. And I talked to him, and I'm like, mate, there's no data. I've even done my research itself. And he goes, no, so here's the difference, right? So adult stem cells, once a stem cell is developed, it can only ever become a cell of what its origin is. So if you pull stem cells from bone marrow, it can only become red blood cells. Yep. If you pull stem cells from your brain, it can only become brain cells.
Sure.
But then you've got embryonic cells.
Yeah, wow.
So when you're as a kid, you're growing.
Yep.
Especially right back to when you're just in your mum's stomach.
Yep.
You're forming. You've got all these embryonic stem cells, and they will go to the area and become what they need to be based on your body's needs.
Yep.
Now, these are the biggest thing in stem cells from my research and what I've learned is that if you're getting certain stem cells do certain things, they have some good papers.
Yep.
Right? But things to heal certain areas, like so for your knee, it's very hard.
Specific to find that.
That's right. But they've found this way it's from umbilical cord. So embryonic stem cells. So they're basically sitting there, and it will be attracted to inflammation.
Sure.
Let me get it.
So it'll go to the right area, and it'll. That's crazy, man.
It'll find. So what happens, right? It'll find inflammation. Yeah. It'll go to the area of inflammation and then help.
Are you popping like Panadols like all day? Like, are you popping like pills all day?
I hate painkillers, bro.
Yeah. I'd rather. I do too. But like, how much pain are you in throughout the day?
I'm not saying I'm not a tough C, right? But it's like because I've had knee pain for so long now, it's just
you're just used to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it hurts, and it's like sometimes the things where it feels like you've been like and it really gets you. Yeah. As long as a lot of the straight line stuff I can do, it's completely fine. And if I'd rather put up with a little bit of pain than pumping.
It's not good, man. Yeah. Panadols, like they do the strong Panadol, like the new, like
even just Panadol, bro, is not the best thing for your liver. Nah. Like, you know what I mean? So I just let it be. I just try to do the best that I can. And if with arthritis, it just flares up and goes down. So I do have to take some very strong anti-inflammatories every now and then.
If it's flaring up.
Site specific it.
Yeah.
And then I go away. But for the stem cell side of things, like I actually got this up just before because I've got to go through the last part of confirming it, right? This place is like, so it uses those embryonic stem cells, and I had a good few consultations with the people from there now, and the way they've explained it, that they extract it, your ability for your body to then utilize it is so much higher. Yeah, wow. So I met this guy he goes, mate, my labrum, for guys that know your anatomy, so the labrum in your shoulder was fucked. Normally that's where you would have to go and get a shoulder reco, re-stitch the labrum, put it back together. Yeah. His rotator cuff was fucked. He went and got this package, and he goes, bro, I couldn't put a jacket on. I couldn't lift my arm above my head. I have zero pain.
Yeah, wow.
I've got full range of motion. And I'm like, serious? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I got exactly this. And he was so helpful. He goes, mate, I couldn't recommend it highly enough. The fact that no one's talking about this, there's so many regulations at the moment. And you start thinking it's right. You look at surgeons, and that's if they're going to stop having surgeries, how do they earn their money?
True.
You know
So why would they recommend something that they're not going to be able to continue business, say, or keep doing what they're doing?
Exactly. So it's like,
makes sense though, right?
Based on like seeing this, looking at the place, seeing the types of people that have been there,
and
then talking to someone firsthand, face to face,
who's
had it done, that has had the best result. Mate, I'm willing to take a fucking gamble.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, let's...
I can't wait.
We'll definitely check back after I've
Would love to, man.
Yeah.
I'm so interested to see how that goes, man. And as you would be as well. It's like, it's very exciting.
But listen, there's 100 million hypoxic stem cell package.
Yep.
Intravenous. So you will have...
Where do they get these stem cells from? Is it from yourself or are they...
No, so umbilical cord from donations. That's why it's in Mexico. It's not currently legal in the States.
Of course. Yeah.
Which makes...
Crazy, man.
It is nuts.
How long is the process? Is it
It goes for 7 days. You get MRIs upon arrival. You get all your bloods done.
Yep.
Chondrocytes are not included upon arrival. I don't know what they are, so I probably need to look into that. But full blood lab testing, chest X-ray, IV, NAD, multiple IV cocktails, hyperbaric oxygen tank chambers, EMF sessions, and all hotel and ground transportation. So it's like a whole week where you're just there and you get your stem cells.
If anything, though, it'd be a great opportunity for you to know more about what goes on and at least share your story too. Because
that's what I feel like. There's just like I would hate to think if there's any other people like me or even past footy players or whatnot that are
big time
that
have been told they can't or there's nothing available. Because to look outside of what you've been told and research, a lot of people just don't have the balls to do that or don't have the time or just can't be fucked, So
and that's where the internet and the information you can get these days is so good. You also can't believe everything you see, but
true. There is a line,
there is a line, but it's I feel like I'm pretty good at researching, and for me to get very little information, I'm like, why is this? So I'm willing to take the risk, like at this sort of point with how much pain I'm in daily, mate. Like if I can get if this helps my knee with pain and gets me another 5 years out of it, like it's worth every cent, even though it's
man. I hope it goes great for you. Speaking of risk, actually,
yes,
I want to go back to when you well, firstly, give me a bit of an outline exactly what the big pie. You've got fingers in pies, right? Right now, what is your finger in? What are your big babies? What are your fingers in? That might sound a bit funny. what are you? Literally networking. What are your current businesses? Obviously, you got Best Body, you got your apparel, you got your supplements. Are they your big two?
So you've got the four. So you've got my distribution company called Iconic Health Distribution. Hence Mojo. Like I started manufacturing my own supplements after about 5 or 6 years of seeing what consumers come in and ask for and say, I love this. It makes me feel like this. I'm like, wonder why. So I started researching.
Let's have a look what's in that. Yeah,
that's right. And after a while, I'm like, if you put these together, it would work like this. And then I started playing around with the raw ingredients, and I just I remember Jacob and I back in he's my 2IC.
Big unit. Yeah. Good man.
I was
gonna say you should have brought him in, but anyway. Next time. Yeah. He would have been good to have in.
Well, I won't get a word in.
No, true. Shit. I'll just like used to talk. I'll just sit back and watch, get some popcorn.
Oh, but no, he's
it's cool to see his side too, hear about his perspective. And
like, without getting too far off topic, like I said to him from the start, I said, if you stay with me from the start, and it was just me and him, I said, I'll make sure you benefit equally. Yeah. And, that's without any investment and whatnot. And I've made sure I've lived up to that.
Looked after him, yeah.
And, that'll continue forever.
Yeah.
I see Jacob and I relationship in everything we do in business forever.
Yeah, it's so interesting, man. It's such a hard thing to juggle being in business with good friends, but also giving back to them or determining what to give back to them, if you know what I mean. I guess it's a tricky one.
I think it's like you need to, it's very rare to find relationships where you can be completely self-referral and honest with each other. Yeah. And if you don't feel things are right, you're able to voice it. But then also to look at both people's perspective, because at the same, two people never will have the same. Like me and Jacob disagree on things all the time. Yeah. But that's okay. Yeah. And we need to challenge each other, because sometimes I'm like, fuck, you are right. Or oh, maybe I was thinking this and I was thinking emotionally on this. And having that person that can challenge you is so important. But then we never take offense. We have blows up, blow ups. Yeah. And then I'm like,
it's all good.
And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, hey bro, I just need to sort out this order and this. He's like, yep, sweet, no
All
worries.
sweet.
It's just done.
Yeah.
Like, why hold grudges? Like, we've both got the same goal.
Yeah.
We're both like loving this shit. So.
I wish my missus was like that. So I wish you were like that. Yeah. Maybe not 10 minutes, but maybe 10 hours. But anyway.
The fingers in things. The fingers in things.
Yeah. What are you doing, man? Like, what's
supplements distribution?
Yep.
And that's a massive passion. So
Yep.
we're about to. I'm working on a protein currently.
Yep.
For a lot of reasons, like back from an athlete background as well. I've been drug tested so many times, and what we stock at Best Body. I'll try and not be ADD, right?
Yeah. No, go for it,
what
man.
we stock at Best Body is only the things that I know are reputable and work. I've cut brands, bro, so much. There's some brands I've even cut recently that I'll never stock again based on unauthenticity.
Yep.
So, you know, it just comes down to like that massive on quality control, but I'll try shelf this.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
But the supplement side of things, so manufacturing, so creating my own products, creating this protein back on the, you know, I want to make sure these really pure, good, true to label products.
Yep.
Best Body, different company.
Sure.
So totally separate. That one's got its own manager.
Yep.
Runs with that. We're in about 20 to 30, I forget, it fluctuates, stores Australia-wide, which isn't too many.
Yep.
But I'm really wanting to grow that over the next couple of years.
Where are you based? Where are your stores?
So we've got a few up in Queensland.
Cool.
There's
Gold Coast?
So not stores that, obviously these stores that we're in.
Yeah.
There's 2 in Gold Coast. I've got 3 in Brizzy.
Yep.
Working my way up to Cairns at the moment, but we've got majority is obviously through New South Wales based on just the connections I've made through,
of course,
the supplement world.
Yep.
And then also I think I've got about 7 in Victoria.
Yeah, cool.
So slowly starting to spread out, and you know, that's something I wanted to grow. But then there's the Best Body stores.
Of course.
Then there's the apparel. So they're nearly completely separate now.
Yep.
The stores have, you know, we've got 21 staff members between the stores now.
Yep. Wow. 3 stores: Green Hills, Katara.
Green Hills, Katara, Warners Bay, Toronto, Morisset.
Wow. So you got Morisset in Toronto as well.
Yeah, it's 5.
How do they go compared to like Green Hills and that? Yeah.
They're very rural.
Yeah.
Mate, the customer base is like, because where that supplement store I worked for,
yeah,
I've bought them now.
Oh wow! Okay, so that's like the OG.
I acquired. So that what got me in.
Is that what started?
That's what started it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll send you my content piece.
Yeah,
we made one on the whole story behind it, because it always has a special place in my heart, because that's where I started, and then the owners, we had that mutual competition, even a bit of beef at times.
Yeah,
you know, back in the day.
Of course, yeah.
That's right, and you know, mutual respect. Obviously, I was from the lake.
Yeah.
I was from Lake Macquarie. I was near Toronto. You know, Toronto. Don't hold it against me.
Yeah.
You don't know the area.
Not judging. Not judging. Yeah.
But it's they called me and said, look, if anyone's going to take it, it needs to be someone that's from the community. And although we've had the mutual competition, you know, out of respect, and I was like, yeah, legends. And still to date, we keep in contact a lot. We've become quite good friends from it. But yeah, I acquired them last year, and they're different. They're rural, but the customers I love them, mate. They're people that just like how I got into subs, come in for a yarn.
Yeah,
for a chat. Just have a good talk to them, mate. I can put my PhD to work.
Yarning, yeah. I like that in your bio. That's good.
So yeah, the stores, and for a while over the last few years, I've been trying to step away from the stores, and it's been a big. This is why I say earlier about pivoting. I've realised the thing that I love most is Best Body. So I've got the apparel is a whole beast in itself, and how fast that's growing. I'm doing everything I can to scale it. Every little bit of coin I've got is going into that. The stores. So this comes back to the Sunny Coast, and I haven't put this out yet. I haven't put it out in Best Body, but we've just signed a deal for Sunny Coast.
Sick. So we're in the plaza or
Sunshine Plaza.
Yeah, great, man.
Yeah, we're in Sunshine Plaza.
When does that kick off?
Actually, you don't put this out until Wednesday. Contracts are signed Monday.
Right. No. It'll be out Wednesday. We can always edit it.
So thank you. So we get the realization on that this is where I want to be, because I realized with the community side of things, it would have been after our Green Hills opening. And then since then, I've had this plan, because I know the community we have is different. And I don't see anyone doing it. And for right now, I also had to look at the stronghold we have on both apparel and supplements, and our ability to have the option and cash flow to go into big shopping centers, because, mate, it's scary.
Yeah, big time.
It's scary to go into these places. And
rent's not cheap.
Rent is not cheap.
Rent is not cheap.
If you don't have that consistency, or you don't have that product that you can sell that can bounce off each other, it's very hard to do. So I realized this, and I'm like, it's not going to be like this forever. There will be people in time. So I've gone ham since probably the last year and a half. I've had concepts. I've got 3 different concepts things I've been working on. A full concept store design done.
Cool. Where's the next store?
So Sunshine Plaza.
Yep.
So we get the keys on the 15th of March. We're open on the 15th of April.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Mate,
and a great spot too.
Unreal
I think
spot.
Sunny Coast is like a beautiful spot to live. Not as full on as like your Sydneys, your Gold Coast, like your Brisbane, your bigger cities. A little bit more chill.
It reminds me of Newey, mate.
Yeah.
It reminds me of
surfing,
Newey.
big time.
Yeah.
Big time,
It really does. And when I went into this plaza, it's
a great shopping centre, man.
It's like, so you'll know, it's like, have you been to Green Hills?
Yeah. I work out there sometimes.
Right.
Yeah,
so do you know how the magnitude and there's nothing else around it? Everyone shops at Green Hills.
It's just
that's like the plaza, right?
That's right, man.
Do you know the centre?
Yeah, pretty well.
Do you know where the Cotton On Body is?
That's not on the outside where the restaurants are.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So do you know where the
I think I do.
Kmart is?
Yeah, I know where the Kmart
if you
is.
walk out of Kmart and just walk straight, nearly when you get to the end of that straight, we're right there.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That'll be cool, man.
It's sick, bro.
That's so exciting.
It's nearly twice the size of, it's over twice the size of Katara.
Yeah, holy.
Yeah, so we're really stepping
big,
up.
it's a big store.
So the apparel, the distribution, I've got property, which is a different conversation itself.
Yeah.
That's what I got into before business.
Yep.
And then now the Best Body side of things, I'm like, these move to help this.
Yeah.
Especially the apparel. But now that I've got these 2 things, I had to redevelop the brand, I had to find out what store layout now.
Yep.
You know, the layout of the store will probably be, 50 to 70% apparel.
Yeah.
It's still the same supplement offering. So how do we do that? You need a bigger store.
Sure.
So I've worked all this out and I've gone, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah.
Because over the last couple of years, like I said, Jacob and I worked out every process that we need to function a store without us being there.
Yeah.
To make sure our customers are treated the same, from our staff members, from their training, for everything, right?
Yeah.
So we've got 3 opening next year.
3 stores.
3 stores.
Where you
So
can't
this
really
is
sell
also,
it too.
This is also unreleased.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, hot topic.
Yeah.
So
No, it's cool.
One in Sunshine Plaza is confirmed. I
Yeah.
can't say the rest, but
Yeah.
they're in Queensland.
Yeah, awesome.
They're all about 40 minutes apart.
Great,
So
man.
one keys in March, open April. The next keys we get given mid-June, right after I get back from my Bucks.
Oh my God, bro.
And then we go.
That'd be a good time to get you back on the podcast.
If
the
I've
day
got a
after your
brain
Bucks.
cell.
Yeah,
It's in
yeah.
Bali too.
Oh my God,
know, it's
man.
gonna
How
be
many,
chaos.
how many fellas are going over?
Oh, close to 30.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
When are you getting married?
Um,
You're not getting married in Bali as well, are you?
no, I'm only in Newey. I had to think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Where Jade and I had our first date was
Yep.
the Hickson Street Lookout.
Oh, cute, mate. Good
All
spot.
cute, mate. We get married up there. So
Wow.
yeah, so we'll do the ceremony out. But that's in
That'll be
August. So
beautiful.
open this store.
Yeah.
This next one in June. Opens July.
Yep.
August is the wedding, and then the next one's in September.
So you got a big year coming up, man.
Fucking
and this
huge
year has been massive for you guys.
It's been crazy.
Tell me about some of your, give me some of your biggest challenges you've faced opening these stores, starting these businesses. Could be staff related, could be product related, could be dealing with people, whatever. What are some of your biggest challenges you've had? Because I want to touch on
cash flow, the ability to scale.
Yeah.
Learning.
Yeah.
Like when people go, how did you learn all this? I go, I still wing it daily, bro.
Yeah,
I have no idea. And you learn best on the fly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go into something not knowing, but then you do it knowing because you've learned so quick, because you have to.
True.
And this is where it comes down to a lot of people like, it's like, I've been thinking about doing this for the last couple of years. And I'm like, well, have you thought about it? He goes, here's my plan and all that. I'm like,
just do it. Yeah. It's right there.
Jump off the cliff and build
Why
your
are
plane on
people
the way
so
down.
scared to jump off? Why are people so afraid to...
It's all on risk mitigation. And this is where it comes back to my life as a water skier, mate. If you didn't take the risk, you don't win.
Yeah, true.
If you don't, go that little bit harder, you don't do that extra training, you don't do all these extra things. And then when competing for jump, for instance, it's like it's hard to explain. But
yeah, I like the analogy though.
The harder that you worked, especially even when on the water, the more higher potential it had. So, and you had to take a lot of risk to get the good outcome.
Yeah.
So I just think it just comes down to especially how you've been brought up.
Yeah.
What you've been around, what sort of things that you've done, because, the scariest thing I've ever, and I still is money.
Yeah.
Money's not everything.
For sure.
But when things are tight on money, things are fucking stressful.
Yeah.
And if you're in good cash flow and you feel comfortable, you feel okay.
Yeah.
Because money's not everything, but have you tried living without it?
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Oh,
and
for sure.
There was years, and that was especially at the start. Mate, the first 3 years in Best Body was a slog.
Really?
We opened in the Junction, mate. Do you know the Junction area?
No, yeah, I do.
It's near
Near the Coles there.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
in there.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
We lost 30 grand in the first year.
True.
Yeah,
Went
and
backwards.
That was a lot. Yeah, that was a lot of money because back then, this is a long time ago now.
Yeah.
I'm talking like 7
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, wow.
I don't know, 5, 6. And when we first acquired it, probably even longer. And back then, there was just so many stores in Newcastle. That was back when the ASNs were really, really
Pumping,
huge.
yep.
Yeah, and Big Richo was still in them, like
Yeah.
really personal, good guy.
Yeah.
So when we opened, no one knew about us.
Yeah.
So it was just a slog, and just by consistency and constantly and we had to learn because
How many times did you want to just call it a day? Like, were there moments where you were just like,
Not once.
Really?
Not once.
Yeah, wow.
I will not fail. In anything that I do, especially in business, I will not fail. I won't let it happen.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes down to the end achievement. Will I make failures along the way? Fucking oath.
For sure.
And then I'll learn from it and never do that again.
Yeah.
And honestly, the best lessons I've learned has been from failures that have happened through business.
Yeah, yeah.
But, it was hard. It was hard. And I still remember that's when I learned the most because you have to. If you give yourself no option, you have to learn.
Yeah. Well, you have to want to learn as well.
100%.
But you don't really have a choice, do you?
But that's where it comes. I'm in something I'm passionate in. I was so hell-bent on, like, this is what I want to do. I love this. I love what I do. I'm going to make this work. And although that was a long slog of having to learn new ways, like we got, what ended up really expanding Best Body is our affiliation process.
Yeah.
Our affiliations with local gyms and everything. The amount of taste testers we still currently do.
Yeah.
Right, is probably about 4 times that of any other sub store. We do per store 1 a week.
Yeah, wow.
So 5 stores, that's, what's that?
One a week.
5,
yeah.
10, 15, no, 20.
20.
That was simple.
Holy.
What do you mean?
1 a week, 5 stores. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, So tell me about, because obviously that was a key part in getting you guys to grow.
Yep.
What about like influencers and partnering with people within Australia and that whole, because I've got a bit that I want to talk to you about in terms of content creation and things like that, and how you make your videos, which I think are, you make fantastic videos.
No, thank you. That comes down to a good team.
Big time, man. Yeah. But how do you go about like picking people to promote your product and that sort of stuff? In a world where influencers, social media is booming right now, like how do you go about that sort of process?
It's hard, man. It really is. Like I ditched a lot of the affiliate protocol for years because I was trying to find athletes, but most athletes they're too focused on what they're doing, which is a given. I understand this, right?
Yeah.
Too focused on what they're doing. They don't want to, in the supplement side of things, the athletes aren't the people that actually take a lot of the products anyway.
True.
You know what I mean? But then they don't want to ever pay for anything. They don't want to give everything back. So it became hard because you're following these people up and they're like, and then it turned out a bit bad and you have to get rid of them.
Difficult to work with,
And it just became really
messy.
hard. So I ended up developing a system where our affiliates, it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what your level is. I actually got rid of the whole athlete thing and just went basic. If you want to be a part of this movement, as I will call, Best Body, I've gone, it's a working relationship. Yeah. So, and that's where I started to build over the last, it's only recently over the last couple of years, I've really pushed that back.
Do you think that's done well, like for you guys?
100%. It's so beneficial because I think anything you do in business, it needs to be equally beneficial on both parties.
Yeah.
If someone else is benefiting more, it's not right. Yeah. Right. So with our affiliates now, everyone comes in on a clean slate. We don't give anything away. Yeah. We do from time to time, but it's like, it's not the thing that, you are a part of this, so we're going to give you this in return for this. It's you're going to work for this and you get your benefits.
This is what you're going to get out of it.
A lot of it's on commission.
So it's like it's incentive, right?
That's right.
Makes sense.
So, but then what happens is when we have these athletes and they're coming up to a big event, we're not going, we need 5 posts and we need
1 reel, 1.
That's right. But then if the harder they work and the more they do and the more they're putting their code out there,
they get
the commission back.
Sure.
So
that makes sense, right?
It helps. It really does. I think for creating a community, you need to have people affiliated with your brand. Yep. But it also is the easiest way for yourself to lose money and also hurt your brand reputation. So you need.
Why is that?
You just got to find the right people.
Okay. How do you do that? That's hard.
That's hard.
That's hard,
it
right?
Really is.
Yeah.
A lot of it's on intuition, mate, and you make the right and wrong things. It's about having, regardless of who the person is, it's having the expectation, letting them know what you want from the brand, and obviously you can tell that for me, the brand image on Best Body is very important. Yeah. Especially for what we stand for. So getting the right people is essential. But back to it, mate. It's all about working relationships, and if you can create a working relationship with affiliates, it is the fastest way to grow because. Let's just say you put X amount of money into advertising. You know,
Yeah.
it's going to just go out and blanket everything.
Yeah.
If you have 10 affiliates and they've all got 2,000 followers, that's 20,000 followers. And
Right
those
there.
people, you know, generally know that person.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
us as Australians generally as well, we shop off our friends.
Do you
We
think
shop
that's
from
more effective than advertising? Your affiliate program?
It's hard because I think we're in the last year, everything's changed for us. The quality of our content.
Yeah.
We've got a whole Facebook marketing team.
Yeah.
A whole email marketing team. We've got everything. I think you need to have your finger in every single pie. And if you're not doing it yourself, you need to put the right people in the right place to do so. And the affiliate side of things was very important.
Yeah.
But I think it's the most important. It's hard to gauge.
Hard to know.
Yeah, it really
How
is.
much do you pump ads? What are you doing with advertising?
And this is the learning curve I'm on at the moment. So
Yeah.
with obviously our last Black Friday, like I told you, the figures that we turned over, it was insane. But that was because of our new Facebook marketing team. Because you know, Facebook marketing is a really cool thing because you can create these ad sets, right? And you can create an audience space, and then you can also create alike audiences. So you can be like people that
Know that or like that, who like that. It's like a little
they have
chain.
this, and then also react with this. Well, we're going to push it to those people.
Yeah.
So you can really narrow it down.
Target
so the money that
those.
you're spending is targeted to the demographic of people that buy your stuff.
Yeah.
And then the people that purchase, this is where alike comes. They can see all these people that purchased all these products, and they can go, right, well, you can do an alike campaign where it's like you find other people like those people that have purchased. So it's increased.
So it's effective. You would say it's worked wonders.
It's very effective. So for this month on Facebook marketing, I think we're probably going to spend 35K.
35 grand on marketing alone.
That's just on Facebook marketing.
Just on Facebook.
Just
What about
on Facebook.
what about Instagram or like?
It all falls on. So it was all
Sure,
Meta.
Meta.
So
Sure,
is-
Meta
yeah.
ads. Sure.
So that's
Crazy.
Instagram. That's, you know, most of our actual sales where it comes from is actually from Instagram stories.
Yeah. Wow.
So we pump out a certain amount of Instagram through Facebook, goes through Instagram, and the amount of leads that we get through that Australia-wide is untapped.
Yeah,
But it's just
wow.
crazy, mate, because obviously no one knows who Best Buddy is out of Newcastle.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a few, but there's no one.
But there's a
It's-
few. Have
It's
you got
ignorant for me to think that it is right. But,
Yeah.
you know, in time, I'm wanting to change it, hence this
course.
growth process. But,
Yeah.
you know, you've got to stay humble in the fact that no one really, really does, right? So having this marketing where now we're getting punched out everywhere because there's, you know, store locations, there's only so much that we can really push. And we might do viral videos, which, you know, a lot of ours are getting 100 plus views now.
Yeah.
You know, 100K plus views. And you might find a few people, but the Facebook marketing, it'll get it to all the areas.
How big of your online market is Newcastle? Is it like really high or is it vary?
As far as like, if I had to put it on a demographic basis, it would be our top is Sydney,
Yep.
then Newcastle,
Yep.
then Gold Coast.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and then it's just, flutters down.
Interesting. How's Gold Coast? What are your thoughts on Goldie right now? Is that like the next spot? Is that because is it booming right now? Like that Burleigh, South Burleigh, like is that?
It's very on brand with Best Buddy.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean,
It is
yeah.
in my targets.
Yeah.
It's just about finding the right place. The shopping centres up there are different.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
different. And there is the supplement industry up there, mate. There's
What's that like up there?
It's very competitive, but there's very few independents.
Okay.
So I still call myself an independent. Like we're going to be scaling into a big, more corporate company. But your ASN, your Elite Subs, your Nutrition Warehouse, these are big corporate companies.
Yeah.
ASN's 45 stores Australia-wide
Could
now.
you, if you wanted to,
Yeah.
put your products in an ASN?
100%.
You could, yeah.
100%. The thing is
Yeah.
with when I did distro, I always found it really hard that all these other stores had exclusive products that they would push. And
Yeah.
the whole reason for me, like, and I'm not, this is their business model and that's the way they wanted to run it. And I think it's smart business, right? But I didn't
Yeah.
want to run something where we have a home product
Yeah.
and we push that. Best body stands for best product for your body, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
whole,
of
right?
course.
So when I made this, I wanted to make a product, my distro stuff, for independents like myself back as Best Body to help them have something that's different to what
Sure.
the other stores only have exclusive to their
Sure,
stores. So
sure.
I could, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do the big corporates.
Yeah.
So that I'd rather work with less stores, more independent. Even though you could get a contract with Nutrition Warehouse, there's 115 stores your stock's going to be in. I'd rather just not do that.
Everyone's got a number though. Everyone's got a number, bro.
I got asked this the other day, like, what's your sellout
Everyone-
figure? And I was like,
Everyone's got a number, bro. Come on, man. Tell me, let's talk about content creation, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I want to run you back to, and I thought this was pretty genius,
Do you
bro.
want to try some Mojo?
I'd love to, bro.
Yeah,
Is this me here?
I'll scoop you some up. But I'll, yeah.
You scoop me up while I spit some yarns
Yeah,
at
go
ya.
on, go on.
Bro, your video the other day with your, when you were doing, it looked like the gender reveal, the baby release video. Like that went pretty nuts on socials. Like it did really well. Like
Trooper, eh?
bro, that was pretty genius. Whose idea was that? Was that your idea?
It was Jade's.
Man.
She saw it and tagged me in it, and then I was like, oh, we're going to definitely.
That was really clever. Was that, what's her part in all this? Is she doing more the apparel stuff?
Jade is just the most.
Jade is just Jade.
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 Jade
is Jade.
Jade is Jade.
Jade is
Jade. She's just the most supportive partner ever. That's the only way I can explain it. She's got a very successful business in herself, cosmetic tattooing.
Yep, cool.
But she's had a pretty crazy life already. With modeling herself.
Yeah.
She got picked up by a swimwear brand called Boontine LA, which is huge.
Massive overseas.
Massive, mate. And they flew her over to LA immediately, and she just blew up. So she's been in that content, that sort of apparel sort of scene before. So she's been very helpful about trends.
Yep.
Very helpful about what works, and she's very business savvy. So,
thanks, bro.
Without sounding too simped out.
Yeah, it's okay, man. I've got a missus. Love you, Simi.
Mate, a lot of the success, mate, has been from her help ideas and support. So
what do we got here, bro? Tell them, what are we trying?
All right,
what do we got?
So ADD today,
bro. Honestly, I love it though. I love how we're just going all over the place.
Is my brain,
that's me too. So I don't. It's good.
I
good,
hope the viewers like it.
bro. It's good.
A lot of
they'll do it though, but who
porridge,
cares, man? We're having fun.
Sometimes a bit cold, sometimes that's right.
That's exactly right.
This was the first thing I created because there's no such thing as fat burners. I hate that word. Have a sip first.
Yeah, right.
Have a sip.
Fucking smells good. Oh,
someone's a Nui Nectar.
Is that your idea of the name?
100%.
Oh, that's so nice,
it's
man.
Passion fruit pineapple mango. Thank you.
And I love passion fruit. It's like my favorite fruit.
So what this is, right, is it's a hybrid between a dieting
that's
tool,
really good, man. Yeah.
Dieting tool, but this is, I call it the Mojo effect. It's really hard to explain. What the Mojo effect is when you wake up in the morning and you're about to go tackle the day, you want something that's going to make you feel alert, level, and focused.
Yep, for sure.
This is where Mojo comes in because, and I used to always take fat burners because I felt so good from them. And it's got 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is a modest amount, a bit more than you find in a big monster.
Yep.
With 200 milligrams of theanine though, which completely mitigates you get all the uplifting of the caffeine, but it gives you a sense of calm.
Yep.
Energy with a sense of calm is cool.
Man, so good.
And then it's got synephrine and English walnut. These two work on your central nervous system paths. So you will feel focused and clear. So you've got energy and calm and clarity.
Vibes.
But then what makes it the best is the double dose of L-tyrosine. Now, tyrosine is a dopamine precursor.
Right.
Now, what's dopamine related to?
Fucking
motivation.
Well, I was going to say something different, but yeah. yeah. I was definitely going to use a different. I was going to use a different word there, but anyway.
So the thing is what I was finding a lot of energy products, but fat burners is, people are trying to over caffeinate products for energy products. People are trying to put all these crazy stims, which an adverse effect on your body raises cortisol, the stress hormone created by the body, to make it stop. So I engineered this formula based on not so much the high dose, but the right dose formula, where you feel clear, uplifted, and after you'll get halfway through this, bro, and you're going to feel so happy, uplifted.
Oh, bro.
The thing to have this first thing in the morning, it's not too much, there's enough caffeine to get you up, but because of the addition of the central nervous system stimulants, but also the tyrosine to make you feel uplifted.
So would you consider this like an everyday, like anyone could have this any day, 100%. Every morning?
I use that Mojo now for my pre. I'll use it for, if I'm having a pre, I'll have it for first thing in the morning if I just want to just wake up and feel clear or focused. If I'm doing my book work at whatever time, it helps me feel amazing, clear and concise. But it also does have the few things that I found do work for fat burners if you are on a calorie deficit, things that help you loosen up hard to lose fat areas if you're on a deficit, and a few little diuretics too, so you lose your unnecessary water retention. So, and chromium.
It tastes really good, man, honestly.
Chromium's one of the big points because it will suppress your appetite. So really help with your hunger cravings. So something that tastes good, makes you feel amazing, helps you dieting, gets rid of water retention. It's just like, it's kind of just a really good all-rounder product.
Let me put you in a situation, right?
Go on.
So someone comes into your store in Qatar, right? He's a 20-year-old male. He he has just started going to the gym, right? He's pretty skinny.
Yep.
His goal, he says to you that he wants to try and build some muscle, and he wants to look bigger or whatever. Talk me through what are some startup supplements for someone who's looking at getting into doing weights and getting fit and getting healthy.
Then the first thing I say, same as all of my staff members, is what's your diet and training doing?
Yeah. Let's say they're training 3 to 4 times a week.
Yep.
High protein diet, lots of meats.
Yep.
Lots of carbs as well. We'll go there doing their oats in the morning.
So to simplify it, he's pretty well doing everything right.
Yeah, his diet's pretty good, training's pretty good.
We would quiz him a lot on his diet to make sure, because if he's wanting to put on some muscle size, he's a 20-year-old guy, it comes down to making sure he eats enough calories. Now, 20-year-old guys these days, they're working their ass off. A lot of tradies, they're doing a lot of steps. So
smashing calories.
We'll look at their food first and we go, okay, your breakfast, lunch and dinners, are you having them? Good. You're having protein, carbs and H. Good. All right. Are you able to eat here? No, I can't, mate. Smoko's only this long, blah, blah. So we try and then figure out, can we get as much out of their food as possible? Once we've exhausted that, we know that they're doing the right training for progressive overload.
Yep.
You know, they're all their hypertrophy training. They're training at good places. They're not, are you just doing your own training? You're training at pins. I listened to you one the other day. Billy was fucking sick. You're training at these right places. As long as this all marries up, training, your diet, then we start going, okay,
bam,
now how do we fill in the gap? So for someone like him, if he's not eating enough calories, I would then suggest something like a mass gainer.
True.
All mass gainers are protein and carbs, right?
Yeah.
But it's a simple way to have it. And these days, the quality of carbs and protein in it are unbelievable.
Yeah.
For you to have 160 grams of cooked chicken breast and 250 grams of rice, how long is that going to take you to eat?
Bro, I might have to break it up throughout the day.
So one of these mass gainer shakes.
One shake.
Is
boom.
160 grams of cooked chicken breast.
Yeah.
250 grams of rice, generally, right?
Yeah.
Boom. So old mate whacks that. He's a carpenter. He's doing 40 million steps a day and sweating his sea out.
Yep.
Breakfast, lunch and dinner. I'm going to say it's smoking. You pump one of these. You've just pumped another full meal.
Yeah.
Right? So
just in a shake, bam.
I'd look at his calories first, and then I'd suggest the other basics. I always look at gut health and making sure you get enough micronutrients.
Yeah.
A comprehensive greens formula normally covers this. And then creatine monohydrate. Creatine monohydrate is awesome, man. Man, it is so fun.
I've just started doing that, bro.
You noticing?
And I think I'll not fucking toot my own horn, but I feel like actually, you know what? Samara bought it, so yes, it would be from Best Buddy because it's the only place she shops, bro.
I'll give you discounts codes for life.
But you know what I love about that, bro, is that, and to talk about sales a little bit there, is that you're finding the products for the person, but you're not even like upselling them, because you're actually giving them ideas and options that's actually going to help them. And you know that because you've seen it, you've done it, so you can testify to that. You know what I mean? It's not like you're just talking shit.
With the customers, right? And this is where it comes back to, remember when I said no sale targets?
Yeah.
That old mate comes in and we go so hard on making sure that he's doing things right because we care about him progressing. Yeah. We give him a mass gainer. Yeah. We give him a creatine and we give him his greens. Yeah. Like we just said. I tell him exactly how to take it, how it's going to benefit him, and I educate this kid. Yeah. He will never shop anywhere else. Nah, for sure. I haven't thrown down. There's so many other things I can suggest. Yeah. But it's not necessary. Yeah. Now, this is the thing I think I got told not to do it first because you don't have these sale targets. Because I want my customer to feel like they can come and talk to me at any point. Money's very hard to come by, especially this day and age. Yep. They know that they're going to get the right things at the right price of the absolute necessity, and then they'll always come back. And that's why, honestly, we've been able to grow and scale, because I reckon we probably take up 70 to 75% of the whole supplement share in Newcastle now. Big time. How much are you still on the storefront anymore? Are you still showing your face at all, or what? Where's the big man hiding? It's honestly, it's been a gradual progression now that Jacob is pretty well doing a lot of that. He does all that. Do you still enjoy it though? Like, is that something you miss a bit, or? I love it, mate. It's very. With a mentor I sat for a few years ago, she helped me out a lot, and I was finding that I wasn't giving the right service at times because I was so stressed about the things that you need to make sure are okay to function the business. Yep. And for that period where I didn't have the capacity to completely step away, I had times where I wasn't allowed a computer or anything, and I was just serving my customers. Yeah. Oh, I felt fulfilled really good, and then I'd have 3 hours of locking myself in a den, just getting stuff out, right? Yep. So, but these days it's like because I got such an awesome team, and Jacob is the fucking man.
The man, yeah.
I don't like saying this too much. Get his
Yeah. We'll be clipping that for sure for him.
You're the man, Jacob, you're the man. But, it's running just how it would be. Just as like nearly, it's about if my businesses can run at an 80%, right, 80 to 90%.
Yep.
Of how I would run it without me there, I've won.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing, because the hardest thing of me scaling this, right, is because I'm so protective.
You still want to be there, knowing what's going on, knowing the processes.
I get a complaint from a customer and it'll come to me and it
why did that
folds
happen?
me. And I'm like, and it's taken a long time to get the right staff that have the right vision, that, will want to listen, that when something bad does happen, they'll be self-referral. So
do you do the recruitment for that? Do you sit the interviews?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
What are you looking out for? What are some red flags? What are some green flags?
Green flags first would be, can you converse, have a good conversation? Are you charismatic?
Yep.
If you've got the ability to have good conversation, create the common ground of relationship, then you're going to get the good conversations out of our customer for them to feel okay to then talk to you about their problems where we can help them with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's first and foremost. The last thing is supplements.
Yeah.
You will learn quick if you work for me for supplements.
True.
Like
what's your process there? How would you teach someone?
So we do a pretty big onboarding process. There's at least 3 training shifts, and then we give them this sound knowledge first. We also give them the tools because you're not going to know everything at first. And it takes a long time. So it's about giving them, we go to our staff members and go, right, the new ones will say, these are the products that are the most popular at the moment. For this goal, this is what we would suggest. If they ask if there's ingredients they want to know about, it's simple as, I actually don't know yet. I'm quite new. I'll get my manager.
Perfect.
So it's about being honest and being able to
I
give
love
them the tools how to learn and scale from the start.
I love your approach to this, bro. I think for someone who so I'm an optometrist, right? So I see 20 patients a day. So I work in pretty big teams. I work for OPSM. So I'm someone who I've locumed as well. So I've worked around Australia in different stores, and I've worked in a lot of different teams. And the one thing that I could say in terms of reflecting on my last 5 years as an optometrist is that without a doubt, the team that I'm working with and the staff, the manager, the guys around me is by far the most important thing in terms of success, performance, mental health, how happy I am. It's just it's so important. I think a lot of people don't understand that. And you realize very quickly, and you would testify to this, how much better things are in terms of results, but also just people being happy at the freaking job they work in when they're working with people who they actually enjoy being around. And that comes down to, I think, recruitment, going through that onboarding process correctly, training correctly, having your systems in place. And I really respect that you guys have taken the time and put the time into that process, because I think it's detrimental to your business.
Yeah,
and
you hit the nail on the head. Everything you've just said is exactly the way that we rerun it, mate.
Yeah.
Even then, realizing as I've had to step away more, we need to do more training. So we make sure we do the monthly staff meetings.
Yeah.
It's more monthly staff training. It's not really meetings. It's where, we'll go and we get special guests in. We get people to come in from different brands and then let them talk.
Yeah, cool.
We'll get some dinner, we'll have a bit of fun, just like we're family together.
So important, that stuff, man.
Oh, mate, it's so important. Like my biggest goal, right, is I want to take this as hard as I can. These next few years, I'm going as fucking hard as I can to grow Best Body as fast as possible and as big as possible. Yeah. But it is my absolute goal to make sure that people that work for me is just as happy as I am. And it really affects me or not. Like, there's been times where staff aren't, and it gets to me, and I'm like, but I will always try and sit down and figure out how can I then make you happy, because if this isn't fulfilling you, then I'm not doing my job properly. Yeah. It's about at the end of the day, be like, this is ungrateful. They should be this. No, it's not. Like, at the end of the day, something is wrong. Yeah. Everyone's got different wants, needs, and goals, and that even right down to my staff members, I want everyone to be as equally as happy as me working in those goals.
What have you learned about yourself with being a leader in a large group or organization? Like, what are some of the big challenges you've found working? Have you always naturally
mate?
It's a good. I have an interest in it because I really think that people who are natural leaders, I think, and there's so many people around nowadays who are like that, but I think I just respect so much someone's ability to want to lead. Yep. And I think for me, myself, I've always been like a natural leader, but I love hearing about people's way they go about it and what challenges they face. And
the biggest challenge, honestly, being a leader is accountability and knowing where to go next.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You've got no one, like you're top of the triangle, mate. You've got no one to answer to.
True.
Whatever I'm going to do this. Yeah. You don't have someone going, no, you can't do that. You
yeah.
do what the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Right. So it's very, very hard. The the thing how I've overcome that was you've got to just ask questions, ask for help.
Yeah.
I ask for help daily. Mate, I didn't know how to scale my apparel. I flew up to Queensland the next week and met up with my mate Lawrence, who owns Outcast Clothing.
Yeah.
And mate, I messaged him the other day. The things that he told me to put in place, I did everything, and it has completely transformed our company. But if I didn't go and completely
ask for help,
but if I didn't go and ask for help, you know, and 9 times out of 10, or I even would go as far as to say 99 out of 100, if you go talk to a successful person and you say, I need help, they will help you.
Yeah. Regardless,
competition or not. Because it's the norm. The most successful people welcome competition. This goes right back to the thing. You should never shy. In business, people that, in the apparel world, bro, this is messed up, but there's all these brands doing so similar stuff with similar designs, and like, you're copying me, you're copying. It's just like, it's just, it's good competition. And if you're not doing that, you're not able to expand, and it gets quite fighty.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, you know.
A bit tox.
A little bit tox.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, good. I love the competition. If stores open near me, if other brands doing something similar, awesome. Because you know what that does? It progresses things faster. Yeah. You're going to piggyback off people's ideas, and you're going to have to think to be
different.
You're going to have to
unique.
That's right.
Point of difference.
That's right. You have to find that point of difference, and then you need to progress. You need to be innovative. And if you're not, then you're just going to stay the same. So if everyone's, you know, I try never, especially in business, try not to look at competition and be like, oh, you know, that's going to make me earn less and this, and he's doing this. No, he's just trying to do the best that he can, and he's obviously might have piggybacked off my idea, or because there's the content side of things.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
I feel like
especially right now,
I honestly think that we've changed the content side of things for the whole supplement industry, and everyone's doing very similar stuff to us. Yeah, right down to our deals and everything. But that's good. It means you're setting the pace now.
True.
And seeing other people do that, and someone might do something different. I'm like, fuck, that's cool.
A great idea.
And I'll get an idea of that. You know, I don't ever see this as bad.
Yeah, I love that. How do you juggle your ego? Like, have you got a big ego?
I honestly think
weird question, but
you know, it's a hard one because, like, you know, like what determines an ego? Are you confident in yourself? Are you like, so at the end of the day, like, in business, I've got no ego.
Yep.
People. I use Jacob, for instance, as an example. I still tell people that Jacob's half owner. Yeah. You know, he doesn't have any ownership in Best Body, but it's like the whole thing with business and your decisions, or who comes up with something, or whose idea it is, it doesn't matter. Yeah. As long as you've got especially for business, if you've got the one goal in mind to get there, you've got to crush your ego, because if ego's in place, you'll be emotional. Emotion comes into it and doesn't work. As far as like personal ego, I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah. Like that's something that.
Well, the reason I ask is because like I've got a lot of friends who are quite successful, and I think as a young male with success, or when you're doing well, your ego can inflate, and I think it's a very difficult thing to.
Tell me what you mean. I'll question that, because what do you mean by your ego inflates? Well, in what aspect do you feel?
I
like
would say
syndrome thing.
That's exactly right. I would say like, and also on the back of that as well, I think people probably don't know how to handle failing and loss, and people probably struggle to be vulnerable. That's probably my main point. 100%. And I love that you're saying that whether it's someone else's idea, your idea, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as you've got the brand, the idea, and you come together, like that's really important.
And having the ability to admit it, I think, as well.
Big time.
It's like, you know, I'll say right now, I don't know everything. I'm winging it every day. I ask for help daily. Yeah. You know, I'm not an expert in everything. I never will be. I'm always a student. Yeah. And if you can take that attitude to it, be humble with it, and, you know, again, squish that ego of like saying like, I'm, you know, it's all me, I've done everything. It's you know, you're going to progress a lot faster. Yeah,
I think the reason as well I asked you is because looking at you in terms of from a social, like I said, we hadn't really met, right? This is the first time we really sat down, you know?
Be honest.
And like when you look at you, like you're pumping out socials, looks like you're flying, you're killing it. Yep. To a lot of people, and I know this because I've got a lot of friends who do the same thing, and it's not until you get to know them, you see them, you talk about, 100%. And you hear about their story, and it's like, shit. It's not, I'm not saying I thought you were a flog or anything, but like my point is like.
Funny you say this. It's funny you say this because there's so many, like Jacob. Back to Jacob, bro. He's been told so many times. He's like, the people will be talking to him, and he's like, wait, what do you think about Tim? And they're like, oh, he's actually a really nice guy. And it's like, so I don't know if that's the way I come across. Yeah. And the thing is right, the people that I suppose I've heard of people that I just don't even listen to it anymore. And in your business, you can't. There's always going to be people that don't like
doubters,
you.
Haters, for sure.
The only people that don't like me, mate, are people that don't know me. Mm-hmm. Like, at the end of the day, I'm not better than anyone else.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy doing the best that I can to progress.
Yeah.
Am I confident in myself? Am I confident in my brand? I could probably see how I come across cocky online because, and I talk about Best Buddy like we're the best because I know that we are.
Yeah.
It comes back to this competition side of things is I will do anything I can to make my brand progress and do the best.
Yeah.
And especially with my life, but I'm never going to put anyone else down in the process. So do I feel like I'm better than anyone else? Do I feel like it? No, I'm just doing everything I can to be the best in what I do. Do I feel like, I'm wanting to then put someone down because of it? Then absolutely not.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great answer, man. I've really enjoyed chatting with you, man. And like, there's like three things, my three take home messages for me with yourself would be, one would be hearing your story about your previous life with your sports and you're doing your injuries. Like, I think I never knew that about you. So that's one thing, your hardships with that, what you've had to go through. The second thing I probably loved hearing about was to do with your staffing, how your systems are carefully thought out, your recruitment, your training. I love how you do your weekly or monthly meetings and you get people in the chat and you look after your team.
No, thanks, mate.
And the third thing as well that I've loved chatting with is to do with your knowledge too. You've done the research. You know your stuff, man. Because there's a lot of people, you can fake a lot of shit nowadays. You know what I mean? But you clearly know your stuff, and I think that's very obvious with not only the products that you're putting out there, but also how you're navigating your way through all this. And I'm not gonna say I'm proud of you, but I'm stoked that you're doing well, man. But no, I am stoked that you're doing great, and I wish you guys all the success, and I'd love to get you on the next few months and keep chatting about what your goals are. And we'll finish up with the final question because we've gone on tangents, but that's how we roll, right?
Oh, man,
ADD, man. ADD.
Full ADD, honestly.
We'll look back, but tell me about on a finisher.
Yep.
Not necessarily what legacy do you want to leave behind, but when it's all said and done, like who do you want to be remembered as? Like what sort of person do you want to be remembered as? I guess what do you want your legacy to be? Is that something you've thought about ever?
Look, I went through a lot of deep dives over the last couple years with mentors as well, especially in trying to figure out what's your purpose now. And
that's right.
Once I kind of discovered that this is my new identity, especially with what I do in supplements, it's kind of like a revelation almost, right?
True.
In 200 years, right, will Best Buddy even still be a thing that anyone remembers? Who knows? So I just, honestly, it's just about while the people are here that I'm around, as long as we're all having fun, I'm doing things that fulfill me, helping people, making people happy, giving jobs to guys that can have as much fun as I have. So we can, because the most fun I reckon I'm ever going to have in my life is right now, while we're in the grind time, while I don't have all the money in the world, while I'm risking everything and I'm with people on the same journey. As long as we can all have a good journey and I can help as many fucking people as possible along the way, that's it. Regardless of what people think about me. So many people probably think I'm the most egotistic person ever based on how I go on socials, whatever. It doesn't bother me. As long as the people around me and the people that I help, as many as possible, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, mate. Great answer. No, I finished a lot of my podcasts with that question because I think, well, everyone's different, but some people don't have, not a long-term play, but have that thought of, well, when it's all said and done, like who do I want to be remembered as? What do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? So I think that's great, man. I think it's so true. I think a lot of people do forget to enjoy the present. And as you know, like things change quickly. Things tick over quickly. These years are ticking by. So
100%.
if there's one thing, as you said, it's like got to enjoy the grind, enjoy the process,
Absolutely.
So smell the roses along the way. All right, guys, Bailey Talks. This is episode, you're here. You're looking at mine. Episode number, 11, I think. If you guys, obviously I'm going to have all the information in the bio with Timmy, but thanks very much for coming in, Tim. We've got Mojo here. I called it Mojito, the wrong thing, but that's okay. This is an everyday supplement. I'm going to write down my, I'm going to copy you. But yeah, thanks very much for coming on, Tim. Best Body Supplements, the man, the king. This will be out this coming Wednesday. I hope you guys have enjoyed. We'll speak to you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.